Hello, everybody. This is Casey.
And the Rabbi.
The Rabbi David Gerber, and we're here with Casey and the Rabbi, a casual talk show just about life's.
So casual.
So casual.
And we don't plan anything out ahead of time.
We don't, no.
Because we're confident that we're both interesting.
That's right. We just let the Spirit take us where we go. And, you have so much life experience, and I've had, some life experience as well. So we just
He's saying I'm old.
No, I would never say
Older.
that. Older,
Older.
A ripened vintage, if you will. So
I'll take
Did
it.
people take that? Yeah.
I'll take it.
But it is the spooky season heading into the holiday, the Halloween weekend. Holiday for some pagans out there, witches.
Yeah, we don't do Halloween in Judaism, but we are proud that a lot of the monsters you know and from the movies and the stories really come from Jewish ideas. But I have a question for a Catholic.
Sure.
And by the way, I met your parents this weekend.
Lovely
They came
people.
to see you play at our at our show, and you claim you're not Irish.
I claim it. Yeah.
Your mother's a total redhead.
Total redhead. My sister's actually a redhead. Her kid's a redhead. But I think they're from like the Italian red variety.
Do they have those?
I don't know. It's a secret. It's a secret.
I won't know.
Right, but it is strange that she's red. I don't know if she's natural, but I mean, she probably dyes her hair. But my sister is auburn, so they're not like the ginger redhead. My nephews are gingery, but my sister's very like Mediterranean red hair. But it is strange that I don't claim my Irish heritage and yet surrounded by redheads.
Oh, well, here's my question for the Catholics.
Sure.
All right, so hell.
Oof.
You've got Satan down there.
There he is.
Yeah, ruling over hell,
Yeah.
and he's punishing all the wicked.
Everybody.
So here's my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If the devil were really the embodiment of evil,
Right.
wouldn't he reward the wicked?
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, if the devil was, so they're on his team, but I think the whole thing is like he hates creation. So the devil he's just upset with God because, according to the Pope, the devil was so full of pride, and when he fell, he was like, I want to be God. So when he couldn't do that, but he was also, torn away from the divine light, which he probably realized like, oh, wait, this is the good stuff. Like, why am I rebelling against this? So when he fell down, he's like, what can I do? Obviously, I can't be God, but maybe I can corrupt his creation, because he started hating on the humans, just total hater.
But wouldn't more people be corrupted on Earth if they knew that hell was like
right, that they could like
just a blast,
just a good time? But yeah, why is the devil punishing the people for God? He should be like, well, welcome to the club. Thanks for not believing in the big guy. Why is he torturing those people that came on his side? It's interesting. But
we do not have that.
No, Sheol, is that the concept?
I could tell you about hell in Judaism because I have been there.
Have you? What is it? Mahjong on a Sunday? Got it.
Mahjong is heaven, and I'm telling the Jewish ladies you said
Don't do it. They're gonna. I'm gonna get such a talking to.
Do not anger.
No.
The Jewish ladies.
Don't let that out the cage yet.
So there's a place in Jerusalem.
Okay.
Right outside of the old city of Jerusalem, and within the walls of the city, everything had to be pure.
Okay.
It was law.
Right.
And if you were impure, and impure isn't always sinful.
Just unclean?
Yeah, unclean. Sometimes, like for women, at their time of the
During
month,
the
they'd be
right.
impure.
Right.
Or there were non-Jews living among them. There were pagans living among them. So if you wanted to do the impure things, you had to go outside the city walls.
Okay.
And so there was this valley right outside Jerusalem called the Hinnom Valley. Ge Ben Hinnom in Hebrew. And that's the place where you would go if you were unclean, and where the pagan cultures would do their human sacrifices, and it's also where the city's refuse would go, and very literally, if you were impure, if you were sinful, also you would be sent to Ge Ben Hinnom. So Ge Ben Hinnom eventually got shortened to Gehenim, and Gehenim got translated by the Greek as Hades.
Okay, and they had their own concept of Hades with Hades, their Lord of the Underworld.
Right. So this idea of hell is it's a physical place for the impure in Jerusalem. Now, there's a prophecy in Jeremiah that says that one day the wickedness of the world will eventually spread, and the contents of the Hinnom Valley, the hell on earth, will one day spill out throughout the world. So when the modern state of Israel was formed, they turned the Hinnom Valley into this like garden where they have art festivals and concerts and music.
In hell. Welcome to hell.
Yeah. And they decided if this is gonna spill out over the whole world, it might as well be something beautiful.
That's fantastic. So Gehenna, yeah, I mean, there's, Jesus talks a lot about like you're thrown into the fires of Gehenna, gnashing of teeth, which I always thought was a very, like that's a bad one. Anyone with TMJ knows the gnashing of teeth. That's keeps you up at night. So that's interesting. It's a physical place. Like you can go to
Physical
hell.
place.
You
can
should
go.
sell T-shirts. Go to hell.
Nobody's capitalized on
Go
that.
to Gehenna.
There should
that's
be
insane.
like a restaurant there.
Yeah.
So you can eat in hell.
I ate in. Yeah. I mean the merchandising aspect is just being totally,
Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Flaming Hot Cheetos. There's. I mean.
Sriracha.
It's just so many. Yeah, I need to open a Mexican restaurant in Gehenna. Anything in Gehenna.
Well, in Judaism, we do have afterlife beliefs.
Okay,
but we don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah, why is that? Because that's I think the main selling point for Christianity has always been like this life sucks. At least during the Middle Ages was like you're a peasant, you worked for some lord who treated you like trash, like Gehenna, and you had this concept of like, well, things are going to get better in the next life. So why? Yeah, what is y'all's concept of that?
There's a lot of discussion about this world being kind of like the entrance lobby, where the next room is
Sure.
kind of the banquet.
Right.
But what's important about Judaism is by focusing on afterlife and the world to come, it distracts from our purpose in this world, which
Right.
is to make today as good as it can be.
Sure.
And if we're doing things for the sake of the world to come, we're not really learning how to be good.
Right.
We're doing things for a reward.
Yeah.
So Judaism has these beliefs, heaven, hell, and,
Right.
and in between, but there's always this caveat when discussing it that nobody should study this too much because, number one, nobody's ever gone and come back to tell us about it.
Right.
And number two, you should do good for the sake of doing good, for making life better for the world around you.
I mean, I think that's beautiful. I mean, just focusing on like the here and now, like being in the moment. That's what it's all about. I mean, if you're constantly fixating on the future, then number one, you're not paying attention to what's going on here, and then, like you said, it's maybe disingenuous. You're not doing it for the right reasons. It's just this reward. And let's be honest, if the creator or whatever your concept of some universal good is, he's going to know your heart. He's going to know that they're going to know what you're really doing it and your motivation. So, and also doing good feels good. Like, you feel bad when you're constantly looking over your shoulder or you're trying to, you've just done things that are untrustworthy. You're like, you wake up and you don't feel good. You feel like you got all these burdens and all this other stuff. So living a righteous life, I mean, not that I'm so righteous, but trying to live a righteous life, it just makes everything easier, and I think that people forget that sometimes.
It's the old, the honest man has nothing to fear.
Right.
It's always, when you get caught up in mistakes and covering mistakes, and you just get this icky feeling. It's not good.
It's just, the old cat chasing its tail. But, yeah, so the devil thing, that was always, I mean, especially for myself growing up Catholic, they got pretty heavy with that, and it was always this, the devil can do all this stuff, but at the end of the day, once you take a step back and you're like, well, maybe that's a component, but I feel like it's more of an internal struggle. It's more of the human side of our half spiritual, half.
We'd have better Hebrew school attendance if we had a
red
more
guy.
well-defined hell concept.
Get him in there with the pitchfork. So,
you got soccer practice? Yeah, play soccer in hell because
your shins are gonna really burn for sure. So I guess with the Halloween, we are in New Orleans, a very spooky city. Have you ever come across any ghosts or are ghosts and those sort of things part of the tradition? Or?
Well, there's a very famous and well-known Jewish ghost in New Orleans.
Really?
That's Jean Lafitte.
Jean Lafitte was a Hebrew?
He was one of us.
Really?
Yeah, he was a pirate.
I know, but I didn't know that. Yeah.
A lot of Jews. There's a whole thing about Jews and pirates. There's a book on it. I think it's called The Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean.
Really?
Jews were pirates. And Jean Lafitte, for all of our listeners out there.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bar here, the Jean Lafitte Blacksmith
Famous. That
Tavern,
purple drink, yeah.
And apparently that is haunted.
It is creepy. You go in there. I mean, I don't know if it's because I got off a gig late or something, but yeah, you go in there. It's like 17 something. It's like this dilapidated, charming old cottage, and yeah, it definitely has that vibe of of something going on. But so how do they know that Jean Lafitte was Jewish? He had a temple on the boat in the high seas. What are you talking about?
Maybe someone was at his bris. I don't know.
And Jean Lafitte's interesting because he actually helped Andrew Jackson during the Battle of 1812. Are you familiar with that? The whole thing? Well, so like essentially what happened was 1812. The British came and invaded the United States, and so there was this battle in New Orleans, and Andrew Jackson needed scouts and that sort of stuff, and there wasn't a lot of. New Orleans during that time was pretty rough, so he called on Jean Lafitte, and Jean Lafitte came with his brigands, apparently his Jewish brigands, and they helped fortify the area and helped. The war was actually already over, which is hilarious, but they helped Andrew Jackson defeat the Redcoats.
He brought a minion of Jews.
I need 10. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I did not know that about Jean Lafitte, but so New Orleans is a very spooky.
It is.
And my father, Ron O'Rourke, shout out. He grew up on Bourbon Street as a lad. Believe it or not, I mean there was a nice family section of Bourbon Street, large Italian family, and he would claim that at night he would hear certain things, and New Orleans definitely has an atmosphere about it that is very you could say haunted with the very gothic. Anne Rice is around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she passed away, but
vampires,
that sort of thing. Does St. Louis have that similar feel, or is it more Midwest?
It's
ghosts?
Scary in a different way.
Do the ghosts apologize a lot in the Midwest? Oh, sorry. Boo, sorry.
No,
They
the
don't.
ghosts they don't.
They don't. Yeah.
So, for those of you getting to know us via podcast, we don't really know each other that well.
Not that
either.
well, yeah.
We've talked a couple times. We like talking to each other, and we're I think proud of that this is a free flowing podcast.
We just let it rip, yeah.
I've got a something for us to do today.
Oh, wonderful.
He didn't even know about it because I thought it'd be
dark.
more fun to surprise
put me on
him.
the spot.
So y'all know, so far our producer Elijah has yet to secure us any sponsors.
Yeah, he's working on it, but he's always late. Yeah.
But I created a sponsor bucket.
Oh,
here.
wonderful.
And in here are companies that might sponsor us. So I figured Casey would pick one out and read it, and then we'll do a little ad for this company.
Oh, I love it. Let's see. Next up. We have the Nap Kings, sports betting on sports betting. Wow, the Nap Kings.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Nap Kings, very famous sports betting.
So sports betting, you can, I guess, wager what type of betting
That the
athletes
players-
have, that the players use.
That's a wonderful concept. Nap Kings, sports betting on sports betting. Okay, how would you want to go about it?
Well, I guess if you if you're a sports fan,
Sure.
and you enjoy a good nap,
Then
you put the passions together, and also if you're a gambling addict,
right, you're gonna want to take a nap after that loss. If you lost your shirt, you're gonna want to lay down.
right? So I guess maybe it's
Oh, Nap Kings. I was thinking of napkins, like Nap King, like Draft Kings.
Kings.
Okay, it's clever. Nap Kings, sports betting on sports bet. Yeah, so you want to make a wager. Let's say Jose Canseco. I don't know why I'm saying him.
odd choice.
Yeah, odd choice. I've been reading his book. I haven't.
He has a book.
It's called Juiced. I don't know why that came up. Let's say Jose, in the past, had a great game or had a bad game and you lost. He's going to want to go home and take a nap. What do you think, Jose? He's not sleeping on,
I think Jose Canseco is sleeping on like the same bedding like a 7-year-old baseball fan would sleep on, like little baseballs on the sheets.
Little baseballs, maybe. Some mitts, some catcher's mitts. Yeah, he's either that or some kind of very satiny sheet. I could see him being a weird satin sheet guy. Not just weird with satin sheets. It's just something about it. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of strange.
So if
I have
you
a very strange experience with that. Anyway,
now if you wanted to wager on what kind of betting
on the Nap Kings,
Jose Canseco has, go to napkings.com.
Casey and the Rabbi,
where you bet on
betting. And
betting.
what kind of, you can bet on duvets. You could bet on what kind of pillows, if they're a side sleeper. And we'll set up cameras in Jose's house, and we'll see. And then we'll collect the wagers. Well, not us, on behalf of Nap Kings. But 15% off. If
you enter the code
Rabbi.
Rabbi in the
in the promo thing, and,
There you go.
and you can bet on the sports betting. I mean, you can't lose, folks. And we also have a website that will track over the course of a season, the sleep schedules of these athletes. So check it out.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Would you like to draw one?
Sure.
Okay, I like this. We're gonna find a sponsor. It's gonna change our lives.
Today's podcast is brought to you by the Revolving Building Corporation. Because why should the door get to revolve?
Exactly.
So the door stays still.
Oh, a stationary door.
And the building revolves.
Wow, that is.
It's great.
It's a concept.
You can only enter like every 45 minutes.
The wires are continuously just severed. It's not a great design, but it's by the CEO, Lazy Susan. She had a hand in that.
Now, if you're a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan, you know that we shouldn't use that term, Lazy Susan.
Oh, is that's
it's offensive to Susan?
To Susans. Well, I don't know where it started, but it is Is it lazy or is it smart? I mean, that's a question a lot of times in life.
We are the Susan.
We're all
because we're the ones who are just turning.
We're turning it. That's a celebration. Susan is everyone. She's the every woman. She's the every man. So, what is the company called again? I'm sorry. The Revolving
Building Corporation.
Revolving Building Corporation.
Because you need a building.
You need a building, and
revolves.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't need to make architectural sense. It just needs to wow your customers.
That's right.
And I think that's
if we know anything about customers,
they want to be wowed.
They want to be wowed.
And so if you enter
nothing wows more than spinning.
If you enter the code Casey, you'll get 20% off your first brick.
Also, I guess that
building.
makes the parking lot like a good parking space would be subjective.
Where's it at today? They hit revolving restaurants and bars.
True.
But not the entire building if you have vertigo, let's just
it's
warn,
not for you.
Don't do it. You're going to be on the floor. But so check out the revolving building. The revolving building. Yeah. All right, I'll do one more. Let's do one more. Yeah, I love it. Let's see here. So we're fishing for potential sponsors here. Jim Moose's Bluetooth lawnmowers. Now I know I use Jim Moose's Bluetooth lawnmowers.
The worst part about the lawnmower is the cords.
It's the cords. If this was an infomercial, pretend I'm in black and white. Fumbling with the cords, and then boom.
No longer.
So
you have to have a corded lawnmower.
It's the past.
It's Bluetooth.
And it's just once you're in range, you sit back and you let Jim Moose's Bluetooth lawnmower do the work for you.
Now, Jim Moose is obviously John Deere's ancient, distant grandfather.
Relative. Jim Moose. Yeah,
he's lesser known.
He's lesser known, but now it's his time to shine. Jim Moose has been waiting for the Bluetooth revolution, and you can be a part of it. So entering the code Casey Rabbi, you can get 30% off Jim Moose's Bluetooth and you use it a lot. I mean, you have a large backyard, correct?
Yeah. I use it all the time. It works great.
You just have to stay
range
in range.
is
a good range.
It's a good range. You can usually do one side of the lawn.
You might have to charge it, but folks, think about lawn care without pushing and sweat. I guess you don't really have to. It just kind of follows you, or how does it? Is it like a remote? You keep there's a giant belt, and then it pushes in front of you.
Yeah, you have to have the moose belt,
the patented moose belt,
to go with it, and basically it follows you.
Right.
So you have to walk the path that you want the lawnmower to walk.
So you're still getting the exercise.
You're
just not getting the hassle.
Yeah. You also weirdly need somebody to push the lawnmower too while it's following you.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's more of a speaker. Bluetooth speaker. But it gets the job done.
It plays AM music.
Only AM. You can't sync it to any real wireless device. It's a radio.
Yeah.
It's a radio.
It's a radio.
Jim Moose's radio. And so just make sure you check out that product, and it'll be great. All your lawn care needs. So thank you, Rabbi. That was wonderful. I'll have to bring in a segment next time as well. And we got the Holy Cow, folks.
Holy Cow.
What's the story behind the Holy Cow?
So my predecessor in this office, he moved to Houston, and
he moved.
I
gotcha.
He texted me a picture of that from his house, and he said, "My wife hates this. Do you want it?" And I thought, based on the picture, it was the size of a bobblehead. So I'm like, "I'll put it on the
enormous." Yeah.
But I've grown to love the Holy Cow.
Who is the sculptor? Do you know the Providence? Province?
It's Jim Moose.
Jim Moose, once again, Not only is he a Bluetooth lawnmower salesman, but he's a wonderful. I mean, very lifelike features here.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So yeah,
the hands are inaccurate.
he does have skeletal hands.
Yeah,
but,
cows don't have. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Cows do not have fingers.
Cloven hooves.
They have hooves.
So, just to sidetrack, which we do anyway, but so the whole prohibition on pork, is it because of the cloven hooves? I've heard that, but that's probably not accurate.
Well, it's because the Torah says so.
Right.
So the Torah has a list of animals you can and can't eat, and it has a list of types of conditions of how you find animals. A cow is kosher.
But doesn't it have the split?
It has the cloven hooves and chews its cud. But if you came across a cow that had died of natural causes or had been hit by a car, you can't then eat it. It has to also be slaughtered a certain way.
Kosher, right?
Kosher slaughter. Yeah. Now, throughout the Torah, there's no reasons given why we do this. In fact, there are 613 commandments in the Torah.
Right.
All but 2 are given without a reason.
Huh.
It doesn't say, don't murder because murdering's evil.
Right.
It just says don't murder. It doesn't say don't eat pork because pork is this or that. It just says don't eat pork.
Okay.
So there's a reason for this. So if you give a reason for a commandment, it gives people license to break it. And here's what I mean by that.
Interesting.
If I said to you, no speeding, because if you speed, you could get a ticket.
Right.
Then you might get a radar, or you might get the Waze app,
right?
And you'll speed when you don't see a police officer.
Sure.
Whereas if you said no speeding, period.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons not to speed.
Sure.
Not to speed. Safety. So the same thing. If you said don't eat pork because it's unhealthy, well then you could find a healthy pork.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. Find something. Yeah. A loophole. Yeah.
So the only 2 situations in the Torah where there's a reason given. Later on in the Bible, we have kings have found this loophole and broken it.
Of course, that's the human way is to get around it. Well, that is interesting. I mean, I would imagine probably because what the pig thing was just because of trichinosis. It's maybe like an unclean animal, or there's just more likely chance of getting sick. So maybe they were like, well, let's just err on the side of.
Yeah, I mean, you can get sick from lettuce. You can get sick from anything.
E. coli, folks.
Yeah, it's just when we the reason to do it is because you're Jewish and that's what Jews do.
That's what they do. Don't ask why so many questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so in the Torah when the Jews are given the commandments, we have this response. We said Na'aseh v'nishma, which means we'll do it.
Right.
And then we'll understand it.
Right.
So in Judaism, it's in line with our tradition that we do the tradition and then we try to gain meaning from it.
But you also have what is the book called where all the rabbis talk about it?
The Talmud.
So it's like, okay, we'll do it, but then for the next 2,000 years, we're not going to stop talking about it.
Exactly.
So we will argue about it, and which is fascinating because maybe it's like we trust enough in God we'll follow through with it, but then let's have a conversation. Like we'll do it this time, but then let's figure it out.
But it's also, for children, children learn how to be Jewish from their parents, from religious school, and it's hard to fully comprehend the meaning of some of these prayers when you're a kid. So it doesn't mean just wait until you understand it to say it.
Right.
Because in Judaism, it's the deeds, it's what you do, what you say that matters. So even in times when you may not feel particularly faithful,
right.
You still say the prayer. It counts just as much as you.
Yeah, and even I've experienced that too in my life where it's like I don't really feel like doing such and such or praying or whatever, but even just doing it, it's just the act of, like you said, doing it will kind of recenter you and do that sort of thing. So I definitely like that. But I also enjoy with the Jewish tradition of the fact that you can have that discourse throughout the ages and be like, so what's your interpretation? We're still going to do it, but let's kind of understand the mechanics and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, was there anything else, Rabbi? I mean, I feel like we got into a lot.
We did.
It's a good one. Once again, sponsorship opportunities. We have Jim Moose. But, we're just out here. We love doing this and getting together. So, hit us up. And other than that, have a great week. Would you like to maybe give a blessing to the people or a little maybe something like that?
All right. Here's a blessing kind of based on the calendar for Jews.
Okay, here we go.
So we are we just rolled the Torah all the way back to the beginning.
Oh.
And what's so amazing for Jews about the Torah is that every year we read the same words over and over and over again. And what I hope is a lot of people have this feeling of going back to a place where they were as a child or where they were younger, where they had great experiences. And a lot of times the places look different.
Right.
And they feel different. You go back to your childhood home and all of a sudden it's a lot smaller and a lot more crowded. What the Torah is trying to teach us here is that we should be conscious of how so few things in this world stay the same. So much changes. But the thing that changes the most is us.
Right.
We change the most. And with that in mind, I think a good blessing to say now would be Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shenatan lanu hizdamnut letakena et haolam, which means, blessed are you, God, creator of the world, as we start this new year after our high holy days. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to make the world better.
Beautiful. And that's what it's all about, taking every day and doing your best and spreading the love. So
Yeah.
thanks again, Rabbi, and
See you next week.
see you next week.